Is there like a reset the clock for when leftists do things that are racist or offensive? Because, for those that aren't familiar, reset the clock is this thing where male feminists, assault women or get accused of assaulting women. The idea being like how much time has passed since the last time it happened, because it happens so often. Why is it that we hear so many stories about, comedians who are leftists, or now the Prime Minister of Canada, famed leftist Justin Trudeau, wearing brownface? Okay, here's the thing. As you've likely inferred from the title, or you just directly understood, there are actually 3 photos that have surfaced as of the time of filming this video of Justin Trudeau wearing blackface. It's 2001. Okay, this has been offensive a lot longer than that. So let me start over, because here's the thing. The other day, I saw this story pop up, and I was like, oh man, Justin Trudeau, here we go again. And I kind of ignored it, like, whatever, man. Justin Trudeau had to apologize. He was dressing like, Aladdin or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's offensive. I get it. I really don't care for the digging up people's past and then wiggling your arms in the air. And then another photo surfaced, and I chuckled to myself, and I thought, wow, isn't that funny? He's done it more than once. Okay, I guess not really a one-off. He kind of does this often. And I still wanted to ignore it. I'm like, whatever. Who cares? Justin Trudeau's a weird guy. He's done a weird thing. Can we move on and talk about things that are more important? And then a third photo. It's like, come on, man. Okay, so finally, after the second, and then finally the third, I said, okay. I'm gonna have to talk about what's going on with Justin Trudeau, because he has a history of dressing up in blackface. This is a guy who's supposed to be, he's the one who made the joke about people self, or I don't know, people kind. And I guess, so if you're not familiar, Justin Trudeau was like at a rally and someone said mankind, and then he was like, we like to say people kind. And then everyone clapped. And then later he said it was supposed to be a joke. But let me just stress this point. This is a guy who's such a lefty. He said people kind. And everyone clapped for it. They didn't think it was a joke. They believe that's who he is. Well, apparently now, he's a blackface guy. And there are 3 photos. So I guess we'll go through them as quickly as we can, because we have 3 different stories. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address you can send things to. The best thing you can do, oh boy, share this video, because I assure you, showing images of Justin Trudeau in blackface and talking about it is going to get me demonetized and deranked. So, you know what, man? I don't know why I do this to myself. I could start a Minecraft channel and make way more money. It's really funny. People are like, they accuse me and other people of being grifters, and it's like, dude, do you have any idea what YouTube does to our content when we talk about this stuff? This is mainstream international politics where the Prime Minister of Canada, who's supposed to be a leftist, has repeatedly worn blackface. And simply by talking about it, YouTube is going to try and knock me down. Some of the top-rated cable channel is Fox News. They can talk about this all they want. You know what, man? YouTube, get your act together, okay? This is the news. You're not going to turn YouTube into a kids channel, okay? There are going to be adults watching it. You can't do anything about it. Kids can turn on Fox News if they want. Here's the first story. Oh, man, Justin Trudeau, Canada's Prime Minister, wore brownface. Oh, brownface. This is a different thing. Makeup to a party at the private school where he was teaching in the spring of 2001. Time has obtained a photograph of the incident. The photograph has not been previously reported. What is this? Is this in the yearbook or something? The picture was taken at an Arabian Nights-themed gala. It shows Trudeau, then 29, the 29-year-old son of the late former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, wearing a turban and robes, with his face, neck, and hands completely darkened. The photograph appears in the 2000 to 2001 yearbook of West Point Grey Academy, a private school where Trudeau was a teacher. This is not a story about a young kid who made a mistake. This is a story about a grown man putting on brownface at a time where it was offensive. Now, I will stress, and I will acknowledge, you had comedians like Jimmy Kimmel and Sarah Silverman, and you even had Robert Downey Jr. It wasn't as offensive. Okay, it was offensive. It was like a cultural taboo, but you could joke about it. This isn't a comedic context. When Sarah Silverman did it, it was meant to make a point. Jimmy Kimmel, however, it wasn't a comedic context, but it was meant to be shocking and offensive. That I understand. You're trying to tell a joke, you shock and offend. Jimmy Kimmel he put on blackface. I don't think they should get a free pass. They shouldn't. In this instance, however, it's not a comedic context. Like, so let me stress this. Let me go back to this point. The original, blackface was a comedic context, but it was very, very different. It was directly targeting and making fun of, a certain group of people. With Jimmy Kimmel, he was kind of doing that. But I get it, because the context today is that he's trying to shock and offend. He knows what he's doing is offensive. While I'm not saying it's right, I'm saying context is extremely important in how we understand these things. In this instance, he's literally just dressing up in a costume. So there's no comedic context. It's him just doing it. Granted, I don't think at the time what he did was considered to be particularly offensive. No, and I mean that. They're calling it brown face, but he just darkened his skin to look like some kind of prince. I don't know what the intention was, but I definitely think today's day and age, everything is so outrageously offensive. Now, something that his friends clearly didn't care about, and even a woman who's, seemingly of Asian descent, are sitting there with him smiling, they weren't offended by it. I can assume other people weren't either. It's today's standards being applied retroactively. So here's the next thing. Apparently he's done it again. Here's Justin Trudeau in blackface at Jean Brebeuf High School. What is that? I don't know what that means. Well, that was fast. So this is what, I don't know what the source is. This is Vancouver is awesome. I don't know. This is not certified or anything, but you have this tweet from this dude and it says, as I wrote earlier today, this afternoon, Time Magazine released a photo of our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in brownface. It was a bombshell, to say the very least. 18 years after it happened, a photograph from a yearbook finally saw the light of day. Now, not 6 hours later, the second photo of Trudeau acting racist, his word, not mine, has emerged. The Globe and Mail's Ottawa bureau chief tweeted out the photo, as seen above, and it's included in this piece they published. This particular photograph is of your country's leader in full blackface, donning an afro wig. Okay. I tried to be understanding to the last photo, where I'm pointing out dressing up like an Arabian prince clearly wasn't offensive to the people back then, and it's extremely offensive today, so they're retroactively applying today's standards. This, however, I'm sorry, this was offensive back then. Well, I don't know when he did this. I assume it's around the same time. But okay, we get it. Now on to instance number 3. Exclusive. Video shows Trudeau in blackface in third instance of racist makeup. Come on, dude. Why is it that so many people on the left have a problem calling this out? Why can't they see it? Sarah Silverman, well, she lost her job, actually. Sarah Silverman did that sketch. She actually lost a job because of it. That's nuts. But you have Jimmy Kimmel, and I can't remember. You have the guy in Virginia. They won't do anything about this, okay? It's like you get, You get Megyn Kelly on her, what was it, like NBC or ABC show, and she asks why it's offensive to wear makeup. They terminate her. How dare you ask a question that you don't understand the cultural context to? Ignorance is verboten. And then you get the governor of Virginia actually doing it. You get Jimmy Kimmel. Granted, I will stress, Sarah Silverman lost a job over it. I don't know if you saw that story, but she was apparently like talking to an agent, and they said, because of this old sketch you did 12 years ago, we're not taking you for this job. That's nuts, okay? That's insane. You can tell her, hey, don't do that again, and she'll say, sure. But I have to understand, right? So there, it's not absolute, right? Sarah Silverman is feeling the pain. But come on, man. How does this happen so often? Nobody vets these people. They think it's okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Justin, you reap what you sow. This is your side. It's your ideology. It's what you push. It's your dirty religion. It's this weird, intersectionality is this new religion where everything's offensive and anything you've ever done at any point for any reason is wrong and you will lose your job because of it. So now we have, look, I'll say this. They're not going to do anything. Justin Trudeau is not going to get fired. He's not going to resign. He's going to just wiggle his hands and be like, it's a learning moment for all of us. And the left is going to go, oh, Justin, you're so sweet for admitting your faults. And then you look at Sarah Silverman and you're like, yeah, but what about her? Why did she get fired? And then you look at the guy in Virginia who does nothing and no one cares. And then you look at Megyn Kelly. She just simply, you guys know the story about Megyn Kelly? She was on she had a morning show or whatever. And they were talking about blackface. I think it was in the context of Virginia. And she said she didn't understand why it was offensive. So they terminated her. I think they terminated her. I don't know what happened. But essentially that was the end of her show and she got a buyout or something. I mean, the show wasn't doing well enough to begin with. But I'd be willing to take a gentleman's bet. You know what a gentleman's bet is? Basically, it's no money. A gentleman's bet is, I would like to propose a gentleman's bet that literally nothing will come of this. 3 photos surface. This is not a one-off. This is triple the outrage. Are they going to do anything? No. Will the left protest? Probably not. They're going to ask for an apology or something. They're going to call it a learning moment. He's going to say, you know, it was a different time. And they're all going to smile and cheer and say, look how far we've come. Heaven forbid anybody who is outside the mainstream establishment ever talk about anything like this at all. Because they will just be like, no forgiveness. One of the biggest problems with all communities, with all tribes, is the refusal to police their own. And so the problem you see with Republicans is they have no problem, for the most part, policing their own. There are certainly circumstances where they don't. All tribes are guilty of this. But Steve King is the best example. He's the guy from, I think, Iowa. He made some tweet about white nationalism, and they stripped him of every caucus. You probably know the story if you've watched enough of my videos. They said, enough. We won't tolerate this. Get him out. And now he's not even, apparently he's raising no money. Nobody wants him. But then you look at what the left does with Ilhan Omar. Nothing. They defend her. She apologized. Okay, fine. But do they condemn her? Do they censure? They do nothing. Now you're going to get Trudeau. Nothing's going to come of this. The Northam dude in Virginia, nothing will come of this. Every so often, though, you know, it's like an inversion. What I've seen is that when there are egregious actions like this, the right will burn their own down. They'll say, get out, you're damaging us, we don't want to deal with it. So it's something like the slight majority of instances on the right are dealt with, whereas the slight majority of things on the left are ignored. You see, it's like an inversion. Sarah Silverman does lose a job. It happens. But then you look at all these other instances, totally fine. Totally okay. So will anything come of Justin Trudeau wearing blackface in 3 instances? The answer is, come on, man. Are you serious? No, of course not. And I'll make this point too. I'm willing to bet there's going to be a lot more videos surfacing soon, right? So like I mentioned earlier on, I saw the first story and I'm like, yeah. We know the dude's offensive. He put on that like costume from India and started dancing around and everybody got offended by it. I get it. The dude does it. Then the second photo emerges and I was like, oh, Justin, what are you doing, man? But you know what? It was a long time ago. And then there's the third photo. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm out. This dude apparently has a history. And I guess they asked him on a plane, right? So we have this other story from the globalnews.ca. Justin Trudeau brownface bombshell hit the Liberal campaign bus. And apparently, this is from, I thought the story was from yesterday, but I guess this one's published today, where he basically said something like, oh, you know, I love those costumes. All right, let's read this a little bit. I want to get to his quote. All of a sudden, all right, okay. When he was done, the media bus, one of 2 large motor coaches covered in giant photos of Trudeau, rolled out for the Halifax airport, where a plane was waiting to take the caravan west to Winnipeg. All of a sudden, phones and laptops began to light up. Someone clicked on the news story and read out the headline. Justin Trudeau wore brown face at 2001 Arabian Nights party. Oh my God, there's a photo with Justin right there. Oh my God, there's a photo. There he was, standing with 4 young women in brown face makeup. Okay, I want to talk about this too. Like what? I'm not familiar with brown face. I understand the context around blackface, minstrel shows, racism in this country. I'm not sure, is brown face just like offensive by like proximity because it's very similar to blackface? And look, you can get mad at me all day and night for being ignorant because they went after Megyn Kelly for this, but I'm sorry if I'm asking a question. I don't understand the context around brown face. Is it, you know, I'm honestly asking, is it just because it's very similar to blackface? It's an honest question. There he was, standing with 4 young women in brown face makeup, a tall costume, turban on his head. Younger, but it was him, no question. A consensus formed quickly. Trudeau would have to give a statement before leaving for Manitoba. 4 hours of airborne radio silence was not going to be okay. So, where's his quote? RCMP sniffed the dogs. When he finally emerged, oh, okay, so I guess he's on the plane. When he finally emerged, it was no longer the grinning, energetic campaign Trudeau, but a slow, somber version. He spoke quietly and deliberately. Well, how do you speak indeliberately? Do you mutter uncontrollably? Interrupted periodically by the din of shouted questions. The only flash of frustration came when he was asked how he could explain things to his children. And here we go. I'm going to have a conversation with them tomorrow morning before they go to school about taking responsibility for mistakes we make, about living every day to try to be a better person, and recognizing that when you make mistakes, you have to take responsibility for it. You have to own up to it, and you have to promise to do better. That's what I expect of my kids. That's how I'm raising them, and that's certainly the conversation I'll have with them tomorrow. Before long, he was gone again. We had 45 minutes to file. Truly incredible statement, Trudeau, recognizing your faults and then having done it repeatedly in the past. And all of these photos keep popping up where apparently now there are 3. So look, there it is. It's what I said. He's going to be like, we're working to, be a better tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to get a bunch of people on the left going like, it's so brave of him to acknowledge his mistakes. It is. I get it. I agree. The problem is the double standard. I think Justin Trudeau, he shouldn't lose his job. He shouldn't resign. Let him do his thing. He was told it was offensive. Fine, whatever. Can we move on? I agree with that. That's the standard the left holds the left to, and the media holds the left to. But what about a Republican? What about a moderate? You know you'll never get that benefit. You know that if there was, you name any conservative personality, especially any anti-establishment, and to an extent, anti-establishment leftists, and they will rip you apart with no forgiveness. They will come at you with the hardest, they'll throw the book at you, basically. If you're part of their tribe, they'll say, we won't hold you accountable. If you're not, they'll rip you up. Anyway, I'm done. Leave it there. Stick around. Next segment will be coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel, and I will see you all then.